It's a beautiful time of the year. We're just coming into mid-autumn, or maybe the start, but a lot of the trees are starting to turn. There's a lot of berry, there's a lot of fruit on the trees. In fact, it's a mast year this year. So what are you going to do in your garden? Well, this is the ideal time to be thinking about replanting, planting in new plants. So get out there and have a look. Hello, I'm Rosie Hardy. This is Rosie Hardy Gardening. If you enjoy our videos, please do subscribe to the channel. So we have got to middle of September. The Michaelmas daisies are all coming out, but you've got a lot of areas in your garden where I'm sure you've got spring perennials. They have all gone over. They are starting to maybe have a little bit of new growth on them, but this is the ideal time for lifting those and moving them around. While you're lifting those and moving them around, you will find the gaps that you need to do, or you may have decided that there's a brand new bit of border that you want to plant, and this is such a good time. We have had here in the UK, we've had a very warm summer. The soil is at a perfect temperature. We've just had a lot of rain, or quite a lot of us have had a lot of rain. Therefore, the soil is now getting moist again. But do remember, as you dig down, just double check, is the water only penetrating the soil this much, or has it gone down a bit more? So when you do dig out to replant something, just double check if the bottom of the hole is a little bit dry, put in a bucket of water, even if there is rain, because you need it to be damp where you're putting the roots of your new plant in. Also make sure that your new plant, whether it is something that you've dug up and you've divided or is in a container, is also moist before you put it into the ground. So give it a good soaking as well. That's one tip. But what can you do? There are so many things that you can get, that you can put in. Now, I don't often cover the shrubs, but there are some fantastic shrubs out there for you to be able to plant. Hydrangeas, for instance. This one is a quercifolia type. So this has got this beautiful shaped leaf. Look at that. It's almost like an oak. That's why it's called quercifolia. Oak-leaved hydrangea. They are really beautiful. And then as we go later on into the season, or into the autumn, the leaves will start to colour up like this. So when you see them at the moment with slightly mauvey coloration on them, that is natural. That is them starting to senesce or starting to die off. They're going to give you that wonderful autumn hurrah with all the beautiful colour. Then they will defoliate, because these are deciduous shrubs, and then in the spring up they'll come a little bit bigger. Now, they don't just grow from the woody growth at the base here. They also send up new growth at the side like this, which is great because that's what you want. You want a lovely large shrub. This one is crystal ice. It's a really, really beautiful one. Just double check that. No, always get that the wrong way around. This one is ice crystal. So Hydrangea quercifolia ice crystal. It is going to make a super mid-size plant with fabulous foliage on it. I think it's a stunning thing. So it is going to get to somewhere within 2 to 3 years, about 3 to 4 feet. So that is 1 metre to 1 metre 20 height and spread of the actual branches, and it has the most wonderful flowers. They're beautiful white flowers that come out, and they are really super. They're slightly star-like, so that is a great plant to be thinking about putting in now. Hydrangea quercifolia ice crystal. I do love it. It's fantastic. Then if you want something that has got purple foliage, then why not go for something like a Physocarpus? And this one, again, these are deciduous. So all of the ones that I'm doing at the moment happen to be deciduous. There are evergreens out there that you can get as well. So this one is a lovely form. This one is Lady in Red. Lady in Red was bred to be mid-size. So before you had things like Diablo, which went up to nearly 2 metres. This one's going to get to 1 metre 20, 1 metre 50. So that's a reasonable size. That's sort of about here. Has beautiful flowers in the spring. This is why it's a good time to be putting this one in the autumn, because it's a spring flowering plant. They have golf ball size beautiful pale pink cream flowers on the ends of the plant. And this is a really nice, decent sized plant, good amount of root on the base here. And then you can put that in the ground somewhere slightly sunnier because it's got the purple foliage. So again, remember, purple foliage, think of a suntan, needs some sun for certain times of the day. It can go full sun part of the day, shade for part of the day, or full sun, reasonable soil, really good plant, a little bit more upright, not going to go out sideways as much as say the quercifolia, the hydrangea is, but again a really good choice for a plant to put in if you're thinking of a new area and you're wanting to put in your shrubs and then your lower ground plants after that. There are other leaf forms of and heights of Physocarpus. So this little one is raspberry lemonade. Now this is quite a new breeding one. It has a slightly smaller green, lime green foliage, and it's much more vibrant and more lime green, almost yellow in the spring as it comes up. Really beautiful, covered again in lovely spring flowers. So these are things that you prune after flowering to get back to shape because they flower on the new wood. So if you go and prune them in the autumn, there's very little there and you will lose a lot of that flower. So just remember this. This is a slightly smaller growing one as well. So it's only going to be 1 metre to 1 metre 20 all around, so it makes a lovely dome shape, and it's got a really good form. It's a completely different form to its cousin here. So this one, the stems go upright. This is much more shrubby on this particular form. So this will brighten up any spot. So this can go in a much more shady position as well. So that is great. They don't mind the soil that they go in. So this one, Physocarpus opulifolius, and this one is raspberry lemonade, and it gets the raspberry name because it does produce some beautiful red berries with little bracts behind it as well, so you get that wonderful look on it. So that is a great shrub to be putting in for the slightly smaller garden as well. And then the last one I've got is another one which has got more purple-like foliage, but it's very dissected. So if you want something that's going to look a little bit lighter, then this is basically a beautiful elderberry. And this particular one is black lace. So Sambucus black lace. And you can keep this to whatever height you want, but they can go up to 1 metre 50, but you can take them right the way down to ground level, and then they will come back up on really good foliage. And then they do have lovely soft pink elderberry flowers, so they are a lovely thing. Sambucus black lace, so a bit more, yes, it's a much more purple when it comes out in the spring. Gradually go into the later season, it goes this colour. Again, it is deciduous. So all of the shrubs are deciduous, but you do get wonderful shape of their actual branches staying there. And with the Physocarpus, they have lovely bark colour also, so that is something. So remember, even if things are deciduous, they will also still look good and have structure, and may also have a bark that looks good. So that is something to look for as well. And then you've got all of the herbaceous stuff, which there is lots of it, which is ready to go out and will be fantastic if you plant it now, especially the things which are sort of early season into the beginning of the summer, because they get this autumn time to grow, put their roots down, and then they're going right in the spring, let's go for it. This beautiful little one is a brand new Euphorbia. This is Euphorbia Walberton's little treasure. It has been grown to be really dwarf and compact, and unlike a lot of other dwarf and compact ones, it's still got a good frame to it. So this is it with its fresh growth on here. The tips of these are going to go sort of a lovely rusty colour, and it will contain that shape for the autumn and into the winter, and it stays evergreen. And then in the spring it's going to put on its beautiful flower spikes just a little bit more up here, and those are a really good lime green to yellow colour over the top when it's still got that orange as well. So it's a really wonderful little plant. So as foliage, not much more than 20 centimetres, with the flower 25, maybe 30, but it really is a small one. So it's good for containers, it's good for the front of the border, but really quite a fun little new plant. So that is great. Right now you might be considering changing your borders around, so you might be thinking of doing a little bit of editing, lifting some plants, moving their places, or even starting on a new project. If that is the case, how about getting a little bit of help and considering getting my border course? I take you through all of the steps from the beginning of assessing the ground and the space that you have, through the design, how to choose your plants. This course is drawing upon my 40 years of horticultural experience, both at showing and building garden displays, but also from helping people and doing landscape work out in people's gardens. This course you can keep forever and you'll be able to go back to it and reference from it. And also, if you want something that is going to go in containers or in the garden, then you can't go far wrong than Heucheras. And this particular one is Heuchera americana. So this is a species one. So this is one of the ones that has been used for breeding. So this one you would find out in the wilds in the United States. It is a beautiful, I love these ones because they haven't had any breeding to them. So what you see is how they would naturally be. So they've got these lovely round leaves on them with this wonderful dark marking in the middle, and they're really quite fine. And then they do have a lovely flower as well. It's quite a soft green white flower on this one. This is a very tough little plant. It can go in shady spots, it can go in slightly sunnier spots as well, but make sure that it doesn't dry out. That's the one thing to remember with these. But this is the time of year for putting them out, and plus these are semi-evergreen, so that means that you're going to be planting these out and you're not going to lose them. They're going to stay there and show up, and you will see them where you've planted them. So that's the key to a lot of these things that you're planting out now. You will see a lot of that foliage, so it's going to give you interest through those winter months into spring before they start to flower. Perennial Digitalis. Lots of people know of Digitalis purpurea, the lovely pink and white and apricot ones that you can get, beautiful huge big flowers. But there are a lot of Digitalis which are perennial forms, which aren't quite so showy, but they're brilliant in their own right. So this one is ferruginea, and this is great. Look at these lovely long green leaves which are just creating this wonderful rosette, and that is going to stay evergreen. And then when it does come up to flower, the flower comes up and it stands somewhere about 1.20 meters, and it's the beautiful rusty, it's got small flowers but a big head, and they're sort of rusty with orange and a little bit of yellow in there. It's quite difficult to explain the colour, but really super things, and they're wonderful for giving food for those early insects that are out and about. So consider these, and these are great to go out as well. So you will have a wonderful rosette that's sitting there. So as I say, this is going to stay looking good. So you're going to be planting a lot of this stuff at this time of the year, and you're still going to see that material. You're going to see the leaves. The same with this. This is a phlox. This is Phlox Chattahoochee. Now Phlox Chattahoochee is a spring flowering phlox. This is one that you could plant at the edge of a stone wall or something like that, or in a planter, and then these bits will hang down. Or if it's in the border itself, these pieces will be up, and every single one of these will flower. It's got the most beautiful blue lilac flowers with a dark centre to them, which are slightly scented. All of this is evergreen, so again you're going to see all of this, all different shapes and sizes. So that's another really good one for be putting in at this time of the year. Full sun, pretty free draining soil, it will be happy. It's growing from a crown, so it's growing from a bit in there. These bits do not root where they touch, so these are going to go out. So it's going to have a spread probably of around about 15 to 18 inches, so that's something like 40 to 45 centimetres. Height wise only about 30 centimetres when it's in full flower. So that is a beautiful one to be putting in. And then you've got the Thalictrums. There are the spring flowering Thalictrums. Now these will be deciduous, so you'll put them in at this time of the year, and they will have they will have foliage on them, so that'll be good. They're clump formers, they're not going to run around. This particular one is the Cloud, so this one is a really lovely soft lilac you know, creamy lilac one. It's going to go up. It's going to go up to somewhere around about 2.5 feet, so 60 to 75 centimetres. The base and the foliage will be about 1 foot by 1 foot, and then the flower spikes go up on the top, and they're lovely wafty open flowers, so that is a lovely thing to put in. But this one you will not see the foliage there through the winter, so that's one of the other types. And then you have got this beautiful thing, and this is Disporum, and this one is night heron. And these are wonderful, and these have been having a secondary flowering, but they are brilliant for putting in now. These like woodland, they like shady spots, they will make lovely clumps, and then they go up, they get up to nearly 3 feet in height, and they have these beautiful hanging bells of a sort of, what is it, creamy yellow, I suppose is the best way to describe it, and they are really fantastic. They give you a good structure and height in a shady border, flowering in the early spring with yet another different flower type. Semi-evergreen, so the foliage will stay there looking pretty good right the way through, but it won't last right the way through. So I would say around about December time it will start to defoliate and go brown, but that's fine. Leave all of this up here. Wait until you see new shoots coming through at the base, and then take this old material off. They don't get huge at the base, so somewhere around about 1 foot to 18 inches. So we're talking about 30 to 45 centimetres at the base, but maybe up to 1 metre in height when it is fully grown. So there you go. There's a whole mass of different things that you could put in your border at this time of the year. Let me just put them all out together so you can see what it would look like as a lovely planting. So here we are. I've laid them out so that it gives you an idea of how they could be positioned. They would be a little bit further apart than this. For instance, these would be a little bit further back than that to give them more room. But this gives you the general gist of what you could expect in the way of colour and form. And I've started off with things that want to be sunny sort of here, going over to more shady on this side. So that will give you quite a good idea of what would be wanting to be in similar conditions and areas. But it would look good. You would be, I mean, this is far too small a space for this. I mean, you would be talking about something double this width, and having this plant further back here and these further back here, so that they grow a bit more, and including, let's put that, so let's be a little bit more realistic about this and where the planting would actually be. So you'd be more like this situation where you would have them planted to give you a much fuller look. But from the point of view of me filming at the moment and showing you the colours and the leaf structures against each other, this is the sort of thing that you would be looking at. So things that want to be slightly sunnier all over in this corner, heading through to more shady going down on that side. Hope that gives you some ideas. Thank you very much for watching, and please do subscribe to the channel. If you want to watch another video of mine, YouTube thinks this one is perfect for you.